All right, let's dive in. We're taking on intentional living today, and we've got a battle on our hands. Two big names: digital minimalism, Cal Newport, and in the other corner, Essentialism by Greg McKeown. Now, we know you're here because you're all about, well, getting the most out of your time, your attention, making it count. And these books, they've got some serious strategies for that.
You know, it's funny. They both score crazy high on Goodreads, like over 4 stars each. Tons of people love them. But they kind of come at this whole intentional living thing from different sides, you know?
Okay, yeah, let's break that down a bit.
Yeah.
So digital minimalism, that one's laser focused on tech, right? How it's got this grip on us. But essentialism, that feels way broader, like a whole philosophy for, well, basically everything.
Totally. But here's the thing. They both want the same thing in the end. They're all about helping us figure out what really, truly matters. And then, boom, zeroing in on those things, like two sides of the same coin almost. One's for those outside distractions. The other's for the stuff cluttering up our heads.
All right, so let's get this battle going. Round 1. Digital minimalism comes out swinging, and it's big punch. Tech isn't just distracting. It's built to hook us on purpose.
Newport, he doesn't mess around. Compare social media to straight up slot machines. You know, the endless scrolling, waiting for that notification, that little dopamine rush when you get a like or a comment. It's all designed to keep us coming back for more.
And it works. How many times have you refreshed your feed just hoping for that little hit? I know I have.
Yeah.
But that constant need to feel validated, it can really mess with you.
Oh, for sure. And that's where essentialism comes in, right? All those digital distractions, the pings, the notifications, they're all part of the trivial many, the stuff that sucks up our time and energy but doesn't actually get us anywhere.
Okay, round 2. Digital minimalism hits back with a plan. The 30-day digital declutter. Ditch the tech that you don't absolutely need for a whole month. See what happens.
What I think is cool is he's not saying go cold turkey. It's more like an experiment. Try out this minimalist life. See what works for you, what you actually miss. Rediscover the things that bring you real joy, you know, the good stuff.
Yeah. I saw this verbal to visual summary. They had some great examples like only Netflix 2 nights a week. Swap out the mindless YouTube for reading. Even set times for checking email so you're not glued to it all day.
And that fits perfectly with essentialism, right? Finding those hell yeah activities, the stuff that makes you come alive. It's about taking back your time, your attention, and then investing it in what matters to you.
All right, round 3. This is where the philosophies clash. Digital minimalism, it's tackling a specific problem, that tech overload, but essentialism, that's like a whole framework for everything, for living intentionally no matter what.
McKeown, he breaks it down to 3 things. Figure out your essential intent, cut out the non-essentials, and then execute. Do what matters and do it well.
And here's where it gets interesting. Both books, they're about different things, right? But they both say solitude is key. They get that you need to focus, to be intentional with your time, to disconnect from all the noise so you can connect with yourself.
Oh, absolutely. That quiet time, that's where the good stuff happens. You get clarity, remember what you value, make space for what matters. It's like clearing out all the junk in your head so inspiration can finally move in. It's wild, right? They both go about it differently, but they both land on the same thing, getting back our time and attention in a world that just throws distractions at us constantly.
It's like they're giving us this toolkit to cut through all the crap and actually focus on the stuff that matters.
One thing that stuck with me from digital minimalism, it was how Newport talks about, being intentional with tech. He's not saying chuck it all. It's more like choose how you use it, when you use it.
Right. And he's got this point about connection versus conversation. Social media, yeah, you feel connected, but it's not the same. It's not a deep conversation like you'd have in person.
Yeah, it's like we're trading the good stuff, real meaningful conversations for those little surface level exchanges. And I think that's why even when we're surrounded by all these digital friends, we still feel kind of empty.
Totally. And he talks about conversation office hours, which I thought was brilliant. Like set aside specific time for real conversations with friends, family, prioritize those.
Simple but powerful.
Right.
It's like an antidote to that loneliness that comes with too much tech. And it goes right along with what essentialism is all about. Focus on the people and things that actually bring you joy.
And speaking of essentialism, that book really gets into the whole saying no thing. Gracefully, of course, but firmly. Which, let's be honest, is hard. Especially now, when we're all supposed to be on all the time.
McKeown, he gives you some good tips, like scripts, ways to say no without feeling like a jerk or ruining relationships. It's about realizing your time and energy. Those are precious, man. And when you say no to the stuff that doesn't matter, you free yourself up to say yes to what does.
It's about protecting your time. Like, it's your most valuable thing. You got to keep it from getting eaten up by all those little commitments, the stuff that doesn't fit with what you really want to do.
Yeah.
Like, you're building a wall around your time and attention, only letting in the good stuff.
Exactly. And then when you get better at saying no, you make space for those hell yeah opportunities. It's like you shift from like reacting to stuff all the time to actually choosing how you spend your time. You're in control, not just letting life happen to you.
That's so key, right? Not reacting, but being proactive. Instead of doing what everyone else wants, you decide how you're spending your time. And energy, you're the one driving.
Totally. You're designing your life.
Okay, so for everyone listening, think about this. What's the trivial many in your life? The stuff that just drains you. And what are those things you shout hell yeah to? Take a minute, think about it.
And when you start to see what's truly essential, what's not, it's like this huge weight lifts. You get clarity. Purpose, it's like decluttering, but for your mind.
That's where the good stuff comes in, right? You're living by your values, making choices that feel right. It's powerful.
It is. You move from should to want. It's your life.
All right, we've talked big picture stuff, but let's get down to brass tacks. What were some of the techniques that stood out to you?
For me, it was how both books talked about routines, systems, ways to support the stuff that matters. Like in Digital Minimalism, he has this idea of a technology Sabbath, a time every week where you just unplug.
Like hitting the reset button. Give your brain a break from all the noise.
Exactly. And then in Essentialism, McKeown talks about the power of a morning routine. Like start your day with the stuff that feeds your mind and body.
Both books seem to agree. Little things done consistently, they add up. It's not about changing everything overnight. It's about getting a little better every day.
Yeah, like that snowball effect.
Yeah.
Little by little, you build momentum and end up with a life that actually reflects what you care about.
I love that. Because sometimes it feels overwhelming, right? Like you got to change everything. But really, it's just about those small steps. Keep at it.
Totally. Forget all or nothing. It's about progress.
Okay, let's talk about who these books are for. Who do you think should check out Digital Minimalism?
Well, we kind of touched on this, but anyone feeling overwhelmed by tech, especially if it feels like your phone's in charge, not you.
So if you're glued to your phone, always checking it, feeling anxious when you're not online, this is the book for you.
Definitely. It's about being mindful, making choices about how you use your tech.
And what about Essentialism? Who's that one speaking to?
Essentialism, that's for anyone, really. Anyone who wants more from life, a life with purpose. It doesn't matter if you're a CEO or a stay-at-home parent.
So people who feel pulled in a million directions can't say no, or just feel like they're on autopilot, going through the motions.
Exactly. It's like, wake up. You can choose how to live.
So even though they're both about modern life, they might appeal to slightly different people, depending on what they need, what they want to get out of it.
But honestly, I think everyone can get something from both. They work so well together, and they both give you this amazing framework for a better life. You know, one that's more intentional, more fulfilling. It's all about finding the right tools and using them to build a life that feels right for you.
So we're wrapping up our deep dive here. Digital minimalism, essentialism. What really hit home for you? Anything that just stuck? A technique, maybe a quote, or even just a different way of looking at things?
You know, for me, it was that both books were all about taking back our time and attention. Like, that's something we all have, but we just give it away to distractions, to things we feel obligated to do, stuff that doesn't even matter that much in the end.
Yeah, it's like we're finally realizing, hey, time is precious. We can't just let it slip away. And these books, they give you the tools to grab it back and use it to build a life you actually want.
Before we go, I want to leave you with something to think about. So we talked about digital stuff, right? But it impacts our real lives too, our homes, our workspaces. So how can we design those spaces to help us live intentionally?
That's interesting. It's like our environment, it can either help us or hold us back. If you're surrounded by clutter, distractions, it's way harder to focus.
Exactly. So create spaces for focus, for creativity, connection. Think about a home office. Minimalist, lots of natural light, a comfy spot for reading, no distractions, or a kitchen that's made for cooking healthy meals. Easy.
So it's not just about decluttering your phone, right? It's about your whole space, making it fit with what you value, what you want to do, whether that's spending more time with family, being creative, or just having some peace and quiet.
So as we wrap up, remember, you have the power to change your life. It starts with paying attention, seeing what drains you, what energizes you. Then making choices, setting boundaries. Take the best from digital minimalism. Take the best from essentialism and build a life that's truly yours. A good one.
That's all for this deep dive.